Pleasure having you on board, sir. K4NDN. Thanks for checking in. And Oscar November Zulu, what's the prefix on that one? Over.
Kilo Bravo 3. Kilo Bravo 3. Oscar November Zulu. Tom in Delaware.
Okay, Tom. Great to have you on board. You got a great signal into Beaufort this afternoon. KB3ONZ and all four of you guys. Pleasure having you on board the net this afternoon. And of course, the tribe and for Bravo Yankee as well. At this time. Let's see if we can find any reporting stations in the affected area of Hurricane Michael who have weather data for relay to the National Hurricane Center. Stations with weather data in the affected area of Hurricane Michael, please come now. Over. Okay, are there any stations in the affected area of Hurricane Michael who would like to come on board and tell us what the situation is in their particular area as far as damage and those sorts of things? Over. All right, nothing heard. This is Whiskey 3 Echo November Kilo for the Hurricane Watch Stand. This is a direct event. And let's go take a look at our weather advisors, and we'll try to bring you up to date on what the situation is now at this point with regard to Hurricane Michael. The Michael has intensified as it makes landfall near Mexico Beach, Florida. Of course, it has made landfall now, and the eye has crossed over. The reports that we've got now are that the pressure has risen slightly. Slightly. But in the meantime, there are warnings and watches, and I'm going to pass those along to you. A tropical storm warning has been discontinued west of the Alabama-Florida border. And the tropical storm watch along the west coast of Florida has been discontinued south of Chattanooga. Now, summary of watches and warnings presently in effect. Storm surge warning is in effect for the Okaloosa, Walton County line, Florida to the Anclote River, Florida. A storm surge watch is in effect from the Anclote River, Florida to Anna Maria Island, Florida, including Tampa Bay. And also up here in North Carolina, Ocracoke Inlet, North Carolina to Duck, North Carolina, thus the outer banks, basically. Storm surge warning is in effect for that area as well. A hurricane warning is in effect from the Alabama-Florida border to the Swanee River, Florida. And a tropical storm warning is in effect from the Swanee River, Florida to Chattanooga, Florida, north of Fernandina Beach, Florida, all the way to Duck, North Carolina, and that includes the Pamlico and Albemarle Sound in North Carolina. A storm surge warning means that there is a danger of life-threatening inundation from rising waters moving inland from the coastline. For a depiction of areas at risk, we ask you to go to your local National Weather Service product distribution means, whether that's the internet or whatever, in order to see the depiction of those facts. A hurricane warning, of course, means that hurricane conditions are expected somewhere within the warning area. A tropical storm warning means that tropical storm conditions are expected somewhere within the warning area. And a storm surge watch means that there is a possibility of life-threatening inundation from rising water moving inland from the coastline. Interests elsewhere across the southeastern United States should monitor the progress of Michael. For storm information specific to your area, once again, we ask you to monitor your local National Weather Service facility. More to come. All stations, please stand by. Great. This is Whiskey 3 Echo November Kilo for the Hurricane Watchman. This is a direct in-depth discussion and outlook as part of Advisory 16A. Satellite aircraft and radar data indicate that the eye of Michael made landfall just northwest of Mexico Beach, Florida at 1 p.m. The eye of Hurricane Michael was located near latitude 30.0 north and longitude 85.5 west. Michael is moving toward the west-northwest, near 14 miles per hour. A turn towards the northeast is expected this afternoon or tonight. The motion toward the northeast at a faster forward speed is forecast on Thursday through Friday night. And on the forecast track, the core of Michael will move inland across the Florida Panhandle this afternoon and across southeastern Alabama and southwestern Georgia tonight. Michael will move northeast across the southeastern United States through Thursday night and then move off the mid-Atlantic coast away from the United States on Friday. Recent data from NOAA and Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicate that maximum sustained winds have increased to near 155 miles per hour. An hour later report tells us that that wind has decreased somewhat. Michael is still an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. It should weaken as it crosses the southeastern United States. Michael is forecast to become a post-tropical cyclone on Friday. Then strengthening is forecast as the system moves out over the western Atlantic. Hurricane force winds extend outwards up to 45 miles from the center. Tropical storm force winds extend outwards up to 175 miles. That's a big storm. A wind gust of 130 miles per hour was recently reported at the University of Florida weather flow observing site near Tyndall Air Force Base, which is at Panama City. Before that instrument actually failed, then a wind gust of 129 miles per hour was reported at the Panama City Airport. The latest minimum central pressure based on data from an Air Force Reserve reconnaissance aircraft, 919 millibars. That up slightly, I believe the latest report was 921 millibars. A minimum pressure of 920 millibars was recently reported by University of Florida Weather Flow Observing Center, once again at Tyndall Air Force Base, Panama City. This is Whiskey 3 Echo November Kilo for the Hurricane Watch Net. All stations, please stand by. Do we have any emergency traffic for the Hurricane Watch Net? Emergency traffic only, please come down. Over. Any relays on emergency or priority? Give me your call sign, please. Over. Any stations operating under emergency or portable conditions such as EOCs or shelters or the like with traffic for that, I'll be happy to take that from you now. Please come out. Over. Nothing heard. Let's continue then with this public advisory. Storm surge, a combination of a dangerous storm surge and the tide will cause normally dry areas near the coast to be flooded by rising waters moving inland from the shoreline. The water has the potential to reach the following heights above ground if this surge occurs at the time of high tide. Tyndall Air Force Base to 9 to 14 feet. The Okaloosa, Walton County line, Florida to Tyndall Air Force Base, 6 to 9 feet. Cedar Key to Chattahoochee, 4 to 6 feet. From Chattahoochee to Anna Maria Island, including Tampa Bay, 2 to 4 feet. South side of the North Carolina Outer Banks from Ocracoke Inlet to Dunk, 2 to 4 feet. As far as wind, tropical storm and hurricane conditions will continue to spread inland across portions of the Florida Panhandle, southeastern Alabama, and southwestern Georgia this afternoon and tonight. With the landfall of Michael's eye occurring, everyone in the landfall area is reminded not to venture out into the relative calm of the eye, as hazardous winds will increase very quickly as the eye passes. Tropical storm conditions are expected now to drift northward within the warning area along the southeast U.S. coast beginning tonight through Friday. Rainfall, Michael Panhandle is expected to produce the following rainfall amounts through tomorrow. The Florida Panhandle and Big Bend, the southeast Alabama, and portions of southwest and central Georgia, 4 to 8 inches with isolated maximum amounts of 12 inches. This rainfall could lead to life-threatening flash floods. The remainder of Georgia, the Carolinas, and southern Virginia, 3 to 6 inches with isolated maximum amounts of 8 inches. This rainfall could lead to life-threatening flash floods. The Florida Peninsula, eastern Mid-Atlantic, southern New England coast, 1 to 3 inches. Swells generated by Micheal will affect the coast of eastern Georgia and western Gulf of Mexico during the next day or so. These swells likely to cause life-threatening surf and rip current conditions. Please contact products from your local weather service. And then, of course, tornadoes. And we understand that there are numerous tornado watches and warnings in effect in the area of the Florida Panhandle and Georgia and Alabama. And those tornadoes are possible across parts of the Florida Panhandle and the northern Florida Peninsula through this afternoon. The risk will spread northward into parts of Georgia and southern South Carolina this afternoon and tonight. The next complete advisory, which will be 1-7, was due at 4 p.m. Central Daylight. It is due at 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I have to remember which time zone I'm in, folks. That's 5 o'clock Eastern Time. That's about 40 minutes from now, and we will update you at this time. This is Whiskey 3 Echo November Kilo for the Hurricane Watch. And this is a directed net for all stations. Please stand by. This is Whiskey 3 Echo November Kilo for the Hurricane Watch Net. This is a directed net. The Florida State Assistance Information Line, the acronym for that is SAIL, is a toll-free hotline activated at the time of an emergency to provide an additional resource for those in Florida to receive accurate and up-to-date information regarding an emergency or disaster situation impacting the state of Florida. SAIL is currently activated, available 24/7. And here's the telephone number. It's 800-342-3557. That once again is 800-342-3557. And I want to take a moment here to remind everyone that there are various nets that use this frequency, 7 decibel 268, and they very graciously cooperate with the Hurricane Watch Net in times like this to allow us to have open use of the frequency. And for those who normally have a net at this point in time, we are most grateful for your cooperation with the use of this frequency for this purpose. To all amateur radio operators, maritime, mobile, and shortwave listeners, the Hurricane Watch Net will be reading the latest advisory information the moment it has been posted by the National Hurricane Center and repeated at the top and bottom of each hour. If we're handling traffic, we will read the latest as soon as possible. And of course, I want to remind you that the new advisory is due out in about 38 minutes from now. And as soon as that does become available, we will pass it along. More to come. This is Whiskey 3 Echo November Kilo for the Hurricane Watch Net. Out. This is Whiskey 3 Echo November Kilo for the Hurricane Watch Net. This is a directed net. And this net operates to provide advisories to the affected area of Hurricane Micheal and to collect and forward weather data to the National Hurricane Center. As a secondary function, the net provides backup communications for official agencies such as emergency operations centers, non-governmental agencies, the Red Cross, storm shelters, and other vital interests involved in the protection of life and property before, during, and after a hurricane event. When asked to provide health and welfare traffic on behalf of interested parties, we must respectfully refer to other known frequencies where such traffic might be conducted. Out. This is Whiskey 3 Echo November Kilo for the Hurricane Watch Net. Is there any emergency or priority traffic for the net? Emergency or priority only, over. Any relays on emergency or priority? Give me your call sign